Hi everybody, it's Christina Blackfeather here again. I'm going to be painting on a coyote skull and coyote jawbone today. I started on the coyote jawbone and my lighting is not the greatest right now, but you can see so far I've done 2 layers of blue and then black edging along here because all the teeth were gone from this. And then just the yellow dotting pattern just because I felt like it. I got the jawbone from Lupa Greenwolf. She has, I'll link to her Etsy store in the video below. She does a lot of work with animal totems and recycled animal products and stuff like that. She does wolf costumes and all sorts of things. So the reason I'm doing this is I have a piece of birch that I'm going to be attaching these to after I weave in the birch. I'm teaching a class on weaving coming up March 17th or 16th. That Saturday of that weekend anyway. And so I'm doing a weaving class and I just thought I wanted to do something kind of fun. So this to me is fun. So what I've got here, this old coyote jaw is actually a piece that I've had for years and years, and it just slowly started falling apart. I think I bought it like 30 years ago at a store that was all Native American stuff from the Ojibwe tribe at that. So I finally decided to do something with it. And so again, it had to go with 2 layers of blue. No, Oscar. Had to go with 2 layers of blue, and then I just did the black on the inside just to do it. So I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And got to figure out what other colors I'm going to do with this. I'm planning on doing a lot of browns and red and cream colors in the yarn I'm using anyway. And it's just acrylic yarn that people had donated, so there's going to be a lot. I have a lot of yarn for this class, which I'm happy about because I didn't before. And I'm planning on using some bronze on the skull itself, so let's throw some bronze on the jawbone. I don't want to take out a whole bunch at once. And maybe a little more black if I need it. Not sure yet. I would live stream this, but YouTube's live stream tends to crash with my phone. And I'm also not using headphones because I have to have the phone plugged in to do this, and I don't have a dongle that does 2 separate things. So it is what it is. The banging in the background is the guinea pigs, of course. I have Harley Quinn and Snowball. Okay, I don't need any more of the yellow, so we'll just kind of do some. I really don't have any plan for this. It's just to decorate it at this point. I have a little more plan for the coyote skull itself. And a lot of people use dotting tools, which is perfectly fine. I have a set. It doesn't quite, I haven't gotten the hang of them yet. So I'm just using the brush, which is like my best friend. So Lupa, if you get to watch this, this is what's happening to your jawbone. I'll have to share it on Facebook too so you can see it. Anyway, I had gotten my DNA results back from Ancestry. And it was really weird because it dispelled my father had this idea that we actually were part Chippewa because of a town that his family had lived in in Wisconsin, and it's called Ojibwa, and it is near the old Chippewa Reservation. And turns out that I is as white as the newly peed on snow. My entire ancestry is I think it's like, it comes out to 59% is European. Most of it Western European, rest of it Eastern, and there's a little bit near Wales, Ireland somewhere. It doesn't specify exactly. And then there's like 15% Britain from my father's side. My mother's side is all the Eastern European, a little bit of Russia, little bit of Poland, very little of Poland, but mostly, you know, the family was Germany, period. So it was kind of interesting to see. I'm still not sure how I feel about it yet, because what other people don't have, you know, is distant past for them. For me, some of this wasn't distant past. My mother didn't come over here till 58. Married my father in 60 or 62, and I was born in 67. Or no, she came over here in 56 and married him in 58, and I was born in 67. And came directly from Germany. And the first language we had in the house was German until my grandmother passed away. So it just was, it is a very real thing for me, and it's just, it was kind of weird to see exactly where the bloodlines are, because, you know, you hear tales from family members and you're like, well, you know, that's a family fable, that's whatever. But it's kind of odd to just see it be a very real thing, you know. But I'm going to do a little more research on my father's side. They came over in the 1700s to Pennsylvania and to the Mennonite colonies. And I guess they were also war profiteering during the Civil War, from what we have found out, because I got somebody from the Historical Society working on this as well. What we found out is that they were selling weapons to the South and then filing insurance claims with the North and getting double the money. And they made millions doing that. I think that's actually pretty good for that. I don't want to go any further. I think that works out pretty good. And that was just with a slightly metallic red. So we'll set that aside to dry. Oh, crud. I moved. Sorry. Set camera back up. Okay. I cannot move. That's the rule. Come on, phone. Doggone it. It's gonna be a challenge painting directly down like this, but I had a better angle before. I got one of these weird bendable leg tripods. There, that's better. And I can look at what I'm doing, and you guys can see what I'm doing, and hey, it's a win-win. Anyway, if you're really into genealogy, it is kind of fun to do the ancestry thing. I'm going to use some of the bronze here. I'm doing a tree trunk. And trees are pretty simple because all you have to do is just kind of waggle the brush around. And then not have a straight line. Actually going to follow a crack in the skull here. But I guess somebody shared that on Google Plus at one point, that there's a way to, there's another company that you can grab these results from Ancestry and take the DNA and put it in a database and do a more intense DNA search off of it. So I think I'm going to apply for that. And it actually was fairly cheap. It was like 10 bucks or something like that. And I think I'm going to do that next. Because I want to, I don't know, I just kind of want to see what they come up with. Because the Ancestry will give you percentages, but it doesn't really give you any super duper details. The rest of your details are relying on the family tree research that you've already done. Which I've been pretty extensive back on my father's side. But my mother's side, we're running into language blocks. Lots and lots of language blocks. Okay. I want to do, not mixing the colors, just do some base colors here. And these trays, actually, it's kind of funny. They're, I get these when certain kits for doing suction on people that have trachs. It's kind of gross for some of you. Have to take a little tiny catheter and go down into the trach at their neck to get into the chest a bit and get out phlegm, basically. So, these trays, these are actually from the kits for cleaning a tracheostomy. And sometimes these trays do not get used. And when they don't get used, I grab them. Because they're handy paint trays, and then they get recycled and not trashed. So, kind of a tidbit for people there. That's what I'm doing. And I use them till they're just so layered with paint that there just is no hope anymore. I just do random lines for grass. Now, what I'm going to do at the end of this, when everything is said and done and good and dry, I am going to coat this with a glaze so that it, the paint stays on. Doggone it, that green just kind of made a mess. I hate that when they get liquid like that. And you can use dots for the leaves, but sometimes if you just bend the brush down a little bit, it'll make some shapes for you. And just let the brush do the work. Which you can't see on this side, but I was a little disappointed that, you know, the myth about the Native American in the bloodline was not real, but, you know, I have a very real, rich history. Some of it I really can't get into because there's some people still alive in interesting positions in the world. And, yeah, so can't quite go there, but that would have been kind of cool anyway. But, you know, you just deal with it. And I'm in a different spot than a lot of people in America because their families have been over here so long. Or there are things that are extremely hard to trace that they just will never know. And so I very much lucked out in that respect. Just kind of wanted to put black down there. I don't know why. A little depth, I guess. So you can come up with a pretty cool painting without having a whole lot of skill even. Just do what you feel and go for it, you know. When I get the weaving project done, I will put photos of it up. I'm also going to put photos of any work of the kids from the class, and not the kids themselves, just their projects. And I'll probably put it up as a video. Okay. So I'm going to need a little bit more green over there. Did come up with a pretty decent green. Okay, still kind of hard to see in this light, and I'm really, really sorry. I'm just going to put some lines for grass here. I just wanted some tree of life type thing on the skull for some reason. Oh, and I just got done watching Aaron Raw and Kent Hovind too. I didn't get to see the live debate. Oh, that was a nightmare. Aaron's got more patience than I do. Kent doesn't even want to try and listen. Now let's throw a little bit of the red in there. Make some red berries or apples or something on this. I'm beginning to sound like Bob Ross. This is my happy little tree. This is where I buried my happy little bodies. Oh, sorry. I'm not so happy anymore. Could have done one of those mandala paintings, but they take so long. And everybody's been doing those. I mean, yeah, they're extremely pretty, but it's like everybody does those now. At some point, I'm going to do my first one. All right, and let's see here. I have some white. Yeah, let's use a little bit of white. Come on. scared to move the phone or have everything come crashing down again, but that's what we've got so far. I just wanted some color, you know, just to pop out on this thing. Now, one of my favorite things, whoops, too much. Well, that's okay, I live with it. One of my favorite things to do, of course, is to have the white dots all over, just to add something a little extra. And that paint is just running too much. And I didn't dilute it and the brush was dry. It's not running far though, so that's okay. We're just going to have to deal with it the way it is. So a little bit white there. Let's see if you can see. Come on, camera. Yeah, so that works. I had two spots that ran a little bit. Even that one out a little bit. There we go. Now let's see. I just want to do, yeah, this paint got way too watery. It's more like ink than paint right now. Want to be slightly primitive. But just something bright and different. Ah. That paint. Let's see. Come on. And this is how I get coated with paint. All right, let's try again. There, a little better. Okay. Yeah, let's do a line down that crack. It's kind of fun what you can just do with dots. Yeah, not straight. Who cares? I don't care. All right. A little bit of lines in the grass here. Nothing very intense. Just to give a little more detail. So yeah, just a simple tree of life on a coyote skull. Let's intensify this line down the center. It's not cooperating with me. There we go. And then let's throw the bronze in here. Now I could have done a perfectly straight tree, but I like my favorite branches for like making wands and stuff like that, and walking sticks always have to have a little bit of entertainment to them, being a little crooked and weird and odd shaped. So yeah, I think that pretty much does it. It's just a quick little painting, something fun. That actually is dry enough there that I might be able to get that white in there and fix that. Be careful not to smear my other spots. Done that before. Stuck my hands in paint. Okay, yeah. I think that's good. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this quick little tidbit. This is, as I said, 2 different layers of blue. I think the first one I had used, and I'm only using the craft paints. These are like $2 at Walmart. Although I tend to find them at thrift stores in packs for like $2 for like 7 of them in a bag, you know. So I used cool blue over top of neon blue, and that really made this intense background color. And then for my bronze, I have Liquitex Iridescent Copper. And where was my red? There it is. Red Rocket by Bella. It's a glitter paint. There it is. Probably showing backwards on the phone. Greens, Apple Barrel, Kiwi, mixed with an old Delta Ceramcoat Spring Green. So some of these paints I've had for years. You might not be able to find them anymore. And the white one is Craft Smart White, and that one's pretty old too, which is probably why it was doing what it was doing. So there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure to stay tuned. Probably be before the end of March. I get the video of the kids' projects done, and you guys can see what happens. But I will show you the finished weaving when it's done as well. So blessed be everybody. Have a great night.